We ask this in your name and in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Commissioner. We appreciate you giving us that word of encouragement and that prayer this morning. Thank you so much. Next item, please.
Reading, correcting, and approval of the journal.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware.
Move approval.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion, correction to the journal? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Anyone wish to abstain?
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Report from the chair.
Good morning. Just want to, as we spoke before we began our meeting, continue to keep our Sheriff Billy Napoleon in our prayers and pray for a speedy recovery for him. I attended the prayer vigil on Sunday. Commissioner Sam Beydoun was there as well. It was socially distant, not a lot of people, and the pastor of their church did a wonderful prayer. So we want to just continue to keep our sheriff in our prayers, and we know he's going to make a speedy recovery. Thank you. Next item.
Unfinished business, there is none listed. We are moving to page 2 of the agenda, offering of all petitions, ordinances, resolutions, and presentations. There are none listed. We are moving to reports from committees. Report A from the Committee on Economic Development. There are 6 items listed on pages 2 and 3 of the agenda.
Okay, Commissioner Hayes.
Thank you, Madam the Chair. And I have 4 items for receive and file and 2 items for approval. I move to approve all the report.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported. Any discussion on the items on the Economic Development Committee?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Baker McCormick.
I would like to be the maker of the motion on item 2, if I can.
Yes, you can. Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Okay, and that's receive and file, Commissioner. You still like to be the
Yes.
maker of the receive and file?
Yes, thank
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Madam
Commissioner
Chair.
Anderson.
thank you. On item 5, I know in committee, I did support this to get it out of committee, but I am concerned about some of the things that I did see in that. So I'll be a no vote and like to be recorded as a no vote because of the, it does not appear what we were told in committee didn't match up with what we had in our package. The value of the property is virtually, I believe it was 3 times the value of what this is being sold for. So I'd like to be a no vote on that. And then on number 6, I just wanted to ask a question of Joe, our policy person that we have to review those items. Were those issues resolved with the, I believe there was some question of how the organization, the Wayne Metro Community Action Agency, how it was listed in this contract?
Through the chair, yes, that was resolved because the initial problem was one of the words was missing out of the title for Wayne Metro. But
Right.
when we sent it back the final time, it did come back corrected.
So those are all the issues that you have cited or resolved?
Yes, it's resolved, yes.
Okay, all right. I'd just like to be recorded as a no vote on number 5 then.
Duly noted.
Thank you,
Madam Chair, Madam Chair,
Commissioner Beydoun.
yes, I would like to abstain from voting on item number 5 since the purchaser has the same last name as mine. So I would like to abstain from item 5.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Basham.
on item 5, Commissioner Anderson raised a couple of concerns I got. We're talking about 12.8 acres. That is about 33,200 an acre, which seems extremely low. And I'm interested in hearing someone, because I don't sit on a committee, how did they put this out for bids? How long was it out for bids? How many responses we had? Those sorts of things. It just seems extremely low. At 12.8 8 acres on I-275 at 33,200 an acre. So I
Is there
I would like to
someone
know
from
how it's
Economic
marketed.
Development to speak to this, please?
Yes, Anthony Cartwright, Economic Development. So the property was listed and it's actually still on the market through Colliers International. Colliers International had this property on the market. We've had this property in the market for about 5 or 6 months now. As far as the value goes, it was listed through CoStar and other avenues as non-disclosed price. We want to see what kind of offers we got. The analysis that Colliers did was an analysis that said they think what the property was worth. However, after reviewing it, we're getting about 33,000 square feet per acre. And if we compare that to the $7,500 a square foot we got right across the street at Pinnacle, and the $23,000 a square foot that just sold the lot just west of ours on Sibley Road, I think we are actually getting the most bang for our buck there. Property's been on the market for, like I said, 6 months. This is our only offer. The county wanted to see this development there because they didn't want heavy industrial over there, and that was the only inquiries that we were getting. However, even with the heavy industrial property, we didn't get any offers. So considering what we got for Pinnacle, considering what came about on the Sibley Road property down the street, 33,000 per acre seems about right. And the reason also we bring this before, because it is extremely important that we close this before the end of the year. We want to get this on the tax roll, so it sits with the tax revenue. If we don't solidify this year, we're going to lose a full year of taxes on this. That's why we have a short due diligence period on the contract. And might I add that a lot of that land out there is wetland, so we don't even know what's buildable. So the developer is taking a chance and a risk to see, what actually can they put on there. So I think all those concerns are, somewhat valid, but very explainable as to, why that price is the price that we have.
Madam Chair, if I can finish, and you compared this property to Pinnacle, and I've got, Benz, I served in the legislature representing those communities for a number of years. Pinnacle has a lot of not necessarily good history. And so the county's lost literally millions of dollars on Pinnacle, millions. So I don't think that would be a good comparable price. And the other thing too, why would somebody buy property without doing their due diligence? You said possibly wetlands. It's like before you would make any kind of commercial purchase, you would certainly do some due diligence and also check with the, Wayne County, also the DEQ, if there's any, because that wetlands has to be listed, and they have to relist it every so many years. So I'm a little bit familiar with wetlands too. So I don't understand how you could make a comment about you're not sure whether it's wetlands or not.
Well, it's the buildable of the property. So we were looking to see what was actually buildable on the property. Now, if you talk about price, Pinnacle is, I know we lost a lot of money, but we're still getting 5 times the value per acre of what we got at Pinnacle. And there was like I said, a privately owned parcel, which was 20 acres directly west of our 12 acres that only sold for $450,000 just a couple of months ago. So if you just go value to value, even if you just take Pinnacle out of the scenario, which we are getting 5 times what we got for Pinnacle, but if you take it out of the scenario and just use the lot further west of ours, then we're still getting more than what the value of that area is showing right now.
Okay, are you all set, Commissioner?
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Marecki.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for the explanation, Mr. Cartwright. I just had a question. I haven't been over in that area for a while, but is that Pinnacle project moving forward with the Ross Perot Group?
I would have to, as far as I know, I have to defer to Khalil if he's on the line, or Waf if they're on the line, and make sure that's still going forward with that. As far as I know, it is, but if one of them are in the meeting, maybe they can respond to that.
Yeah, it's Khalil Rahal, Assistant County Executive. Thanks for the question, Commissioner Marecki. It is moving forward. Good news is that the property at Pinnacle has been rezoned to allow for industrial use. Just by way of just background, when properties in that area, near the airport, off the freeway, become rezoned for industrial use, their value does go up, right? Because freeway, airport, right? The use matches up with some of the structures around them, so that the value of that property does go up. They have site plan approval for 2 buildings on that site, about 1.25 million square feet of site plan approval. They are in talks with a tenant, undisclosed at the moment, but we're hoping soon to sign a lease. I think the one thing that Anthony mentioned that I think is vital is, the township has been very, very clear with us, along Sibley Road, where this property exists, there is to be, no industrial, right? I mean, that's always been the conversation going back, I don't know how many years, which has been the cause of all the problems that Commissioner Basham raised, and he's right about that. The Pinnacle property is very, conducive for industrial use, but the locals don't want to see that on the frontage of it. But, it's 650 acres. So, a deal was struck, right? 1,000 feet back from Sibley is where we could have industrial use. And so you saw the Ross Perot deal kind of come together because of a lot of those things.
Thank you very much for that. I'm all set, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. One of the things I did want members to be aware of, I'm sure they are already, but I just wanted to highlight it, that there are some things that our commission council brought up in the highlights that I think certainly caused me to pause. That the property is being sold for $425,000, which is less than half of the appraised value in listing price. 6 months is relatively short period of time for a large commercial piece of property to be listed. Sometimes a year or 2 years is more of a common period of time. So 6 months is not very long. The market value of the property is stated to be between $960,000 and $1.2 million. It appears that the county is giving the purchaser an additional 2.3 acres of land at no additional cost from what was originally written as a 10.5 purchase, 10.5 acre purchase. And I just would like to ask our council if I've missed something that she sees as a major concern. It doesn't sound like there's any risk on the part of the purchaser because their deposit will be refunded if it does not close. So there's not any, just the expense of having those, if it's whatever the due diligence is, that's the only expense that's involved, unless I'm mistaken, but that's what I'm reading from the notes.
May I respond?
Commissioner, I'm sorry, Mr. Cartwright, go ahead.
Yeah. First of all, we don't have an appraisal on the property. Okay. The listing agreement has a broker price opinion, which we always get is extremely high. Okay. I did not, a couple of people did not agree with that broker price opinion. Therefore, it was listed at an undisclosed price. So the market can tell us what that value was. The sheet that you have there from Colliers is explaining, just it's basically a listing ticket for us. It's a listing agreement for us. It's not an appraisal. Like I said, it went on the market at a non-disclosed price because that number was extremely high considering everything else that was going on around there. I think that was Colliers had a new person in the fold, and I think that person was being overly zealous, trying to be a little bit impressive to what he think could happen. We did not, like I said before, we listed at an undisclosed price. We got this offer. Everything else was industrial that was even inquired. The township did not have a great appetite for industrial use. So this fit perfectly. And like I said, this was the only offer we got, and we do not have an appraisal for that property yet.
I'm just going by
Yeah.
the notes that I had.
Yeah, we
Madam
have a
Chair.
price opinion, yes.
Madam Chair, if I could, I'd also
Commissioner?
like to ask our attorney if she has any other concerns regarding this.
Council?
Good morning. Through the chair, no, Commissioner. I believe you covered the concerns. One was just the question regarding the value as indicated. The company that the county hired gave his opinion for the value to be between 960,000 to 1.2, and the county selling it for 405,000. So we just raised that issue to bring it to Commissioner's attention. The other concern was related to the fact that the purchaser originally offered to purchase 10.5 acres for the 425,000, but the county's actually given 12.84 acres. So it just wasn't clear why the value didn't go up with that additional 2.3 acres. But you've already covered those concerns, and I think that the department has attempted to address those. So,
Madam
Thank you.
Chair,
Commissioner Anderson, you all set?
I'm all set. Thank you.
Commissioner Baker McCormick?
thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Cartwright, you indicated that there was no appraisal. Is there a reason why?
We never get, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
That was the question.
Okay.
Is there a
Yeah,
reason why we don't have
we
it?
never get an appraisal. We always get a broker opinion of value, okay? We have to pay for appraisal. So we got a broker's opinion of value is what we always get for all of our transactions. So that's what we received for this one.
Okay, and the broker's opinion was?
Broker's opinion was not about 925,000, which I didn't see anything. I mean, the broker opinion of value wasn't accurate in my opinion. So that's why we went with the non-disclosed listing price as opposed to the $925,000 listing price.
Thank you.
Mr. Cartwright, do we know what the anticipated taxes will be for next year for this, if it goes through today?
I do not have that exact amount, but however, I can get it to you before this meeting is over.
Okay. Okay, any additional questions? Any additional questions on this item or any of the other items from economic development? Okay, hearing none. We have a motion and approval. All in favor, say aye. I'm sorry, roll call vote, I'm sorry. Roll call vote for the entire report.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes, with that one exception.
duly noted. Commissioner Basham,
Yes, I'll abstain on number 5.
Commissioner Baydoun,
Yes, and I will abstain on number 5.
Commissioner Clark Coleman,
Yes.
Commissioner Dodd,
yes.
Commissioner Hadis, Commissioner Hadis,
Yes.
Commissioner Knizik,
Yes.
Commissioner Marecki,
Yes.
Commissioner Baker McCormick,
Yes, with the exception of number 5, no.
Commissioner Scott,
Yes.
Commissioner Varga,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware,
Yes.
Vice Chair Palomero,
Yes.
Chair Bell,
Yes.
Motion carries, and I have Commissioners Anderson and Baker McCormick as a no on item 5, and Commissioners Baydoun and Basham as abstaining on number 5.
Okay, thank you. Next item, please.
We are moving to page 3 of the agenda, Report B from the Committee on Public Services. There are 10 items listed on pages 3 through 5 of the agenda.
Commissioner Mareki?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to move to receive and file items 1, 6, 7, and 8, and move to approve items 2 through 5 and 9 and 10.
Support.
Support it.
Addis.
Thank you.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion on the public services report? You can scroll down, please.
Just a
Madam Chair.
comment.
Commissioner Basham, the Commissioner Anderson.
I just wanted to note that Wayne County's making a wise decision purchasing John Deere tractors. I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Anderson.
Well, I'm a John Deere fan too, but it's not, it is that item that was my question is just I just wanted to ask how that was bid. Or is it a purchasing program that was used?
Good morning. This is Derek Coley,
Yes.
Director of Equipment Division, DPS. It is purchased through the Sourcewell Cooperative.
Oh, okay. I see the Sourcewell, but I wasn't familiar with what that is.
Yes, sir.
Could you explain that, what it is?
Sourcewell is a national cooperative agreement. It allows municipalities, just like all the other cooperatives that we use, allows municipalities and government agencies to join their pricing, which has already been put out for bid on a national level. We get the benefits of their efficiencies. We don't have to put them out to bid and use our resources and time. It's already been put out to bid and with quite a few more than what we would normally get as far as returns on the bid, solicitations put out, et cetera. So Sourcewell, I'm sorry, I don't remember what they used to be called. You're probably familiar with their former name, but they changed their name a couple of years ago. So Sourcewell might be new to you, but that organization has been around for many years.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Thank you. Any additional questions on the public services report? Any questions on public services? Okay, it's been moved and supported. Roll call vote on the public services report, please.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Basham,
Yes.
Commissioner Baydoun,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Coleman,
Yes.
Commissioner Dobb,
Yes.
Commissioner Hattis,
Yes.
Commissioner Knizik,
Yes.
Commissioner Mareki,
Yes.
Commissioner Baker McCormick,
Yes.
Commissioner Scott,
Yes.
Commissioner Varga,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware,
Yes.
Vice Chair Palomera,
Yes.
Chair Bell.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Next item, please.
We're on Report C from the Committee on Health and Human Services. There are 10 items listed on pages 5 through 9 of the agenda.
Okay, Commissioner Colleen has asked to be excused for today. The Vice Chair is Commissioner Baker McCormick, so I'll call on you, ma'am.
Okay.
Commissioner Baker McCormick.
Okay, I'm sorry, didn't unmute myself. So we have for approval, let me look, I have to see how many items here.
And
So
you can
for the
approve it.
Committee on Health and Human Services, we have number 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 items for approval. And I want to be the
Support.
maker of the motion for number 10. Well, I am, I guess. Let's see, how many for file, to receive and file number 3 and number 4, it looks like for revision.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Sorry
I
about
hear
that. I
support
wasn't prepared for that.
Oh, you're fine. I was supported by Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware. Any discussion on the Health and Human Services report?
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Basham.
Yeah, item number 5 is retroactive. I'm just wondering why, this is nothing new. We've always supported Michigan State and what they're doing with the county, but why is it retroactive?
Okay, who can speak to item number 5?
Good morning. Nellie Lee, Director of Policy and Compliance for HHVS. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. This item is retroactive due to some negotiations with Michigan State Extension. There was a budgetary concern that prolonged the discussions, as well as a position, a clerical position that was included in the contract, but because the offices are closed, that clerical position is now laid off, but it remains in the contract, and that was a point of negotiation for possibly reinstating that position for the next fiscal year. Due to the lengthy discussions, that is why the agreement came a little bit later than expected. And you are correct, this contract has been going on for many years, but it was due to budgetary concerns and because of the COVID pandemic. The budget items were not as readily available this fiscal year.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Commissioner.
We're working from home. What was the constraint? I mean, you would think it'd be constraints with all the other items. It's like, just because there's COVID don't mean that we can't do our agenda items on time. I just think it's a reason why it's retroactive, but I don't necessarily agree with the reason. So I'll be a no vote on retroactive, just to send a message on number 5.
Respectfully, Commissioner, may I respond to that? What I meant was the COVID pandemic caused some budgetary constraints. It did not slow us down in our work. It was the budget cuts that were the result of the extended negotiations. It wasn't because of the COVID that the work wasn't done. It was that the COVID pandemic affected our budgetary means.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Commissioner Basham, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That's why I still am struggling with why, if you have budgetary constraints, most contracts are not to exceed contracts. They're set for a certain amount. There's certain things you have to do or not do, but processing the paperwork, and that's what this is about. When you don't process paperwork and things become retroactive. When I got on the commission, 20 to 30% of the contracts over 50,000 were retroactive. It got down to single digits. Now it's going back up. I'm just trying to send a strong message that this one commissioner out of 15 does not like retroactive contracts. So just to send a message, I'll be a no vote. Not that it's not worthwhile, but that we need to clean up retroactive contracts.
May I just make?
Thank you, Commissioner.
I'm sorry. May I respond to that, please? As I said, we understand.
Go ahead, Ms. Lee, but I think Commissioner just wanted to make his comment.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Varga, you're fine. I'm going to Commissioner Varga. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Do I understand that the secretarial position is still laid off because they are, the extension is working and they can do Zoom just like we do, and they would need the secretarial position? That's one. Two, we did pass this in our budget. And so while I want to be respectful, this should not have taken this long to get it done. Because we are working with Michigan State University, and we need to keep our feet to the ground as well, so we don't lose any of the monies that they were prepared to put into the program. So maybe for next year, we can be more proactive so this does not happen. So if I could get my answer for one, could that person not work like we do virtually?
Commissioner Varga, Nellie Lee again for HHBS. I actually, I don't know all the duties of this clerical position. As I understand it, it's a more of an in-person type of job with the duties of this position. However, I need to check with Division Director Carol Osterberry as to if that is a possibility as well. And Mr. Wooten, I will check with both of them.
Okay, thank you. If Mr. Wooten does need that position, oh, he's online.
Yes,
Could we get the answer for that, Madam Chair?
yes.
Sure, Mr. Wooten, go ahead.
Yes, basically for that position, she's absolutely correct. It was more of an in-person position. This was Jennifer Sardi. She was on site and she handled a lot of the day-to-day activities for the county. When we first went into the pause, we didn't have as much work for her because our caseload was reduced because we couldn't do face-to-face. We're now getting to that point where we're kind of getting comfortable with virtual trainings. So we're getting to a place where our programming is starting to increase since we know we're going to be into this for at least another 6 months. So we're looking to potentially bring that position back probably within the next 3 to 4 months. We're also hoping that by the summer, we're hoping we'll be allowed to do some face-to-face programming. We're planning for face-to-face programming in the summer, and we're hopeful. And as we approach that time, we're going to move to put that position back in place.
Okay, as long as you're in the loop on that, and you get your needs met, our needs met for our communities through your programs, I'm fine with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion from commissioners on this report? Any discussion on the Health and Human Services report? Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Basham,
Yes, but a no on 5.
Commissioner Baidoon,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Coleman,
Yes.
Commissioner Daub,
Yes.
Commissioner Hattis,
Yes.
Commissioner Kuzic,
Yes.
Commissioner Marecki,
Yes.
Commissioner Baker McCormick,
Yes.
Commissioner Scott,
Yes.
Commissioner Varga,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware,
Yes.
Vice Chair Palomino,
Yes.
Chair Bell.
Yes.
Motion carries, and have Commissioner Basham as a no on item number 5.
Okay, thank you. Next item, please.
We're on report D from the Committee on Ways and Means. There are 21 items listed on pages 10 through 13 of the agenda.
Okay, Commissioner Varga.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the entire report.
Support Anderson.
Okay, it's been moved and supported. Any item or any questions or comments on this very long Ways and Means report.
Yes,
Lot of-
Madam Chair.
Yes, it was Commissioner Baker McCormick, yes.
Yes, I'm looking for the item. The very last item, I believe it's number 21.
Okay.
Just wanted to get clarification on that item. Did we determine exactly what the funds would be used for?
So through the
let's,
chair, I can speak to that.
Is that,
if you're
is that
okay with that.
Wafa?
Yeah, Wafa Denaro Economic Development.
Let me ask a question, please. Can you all hear me okay? Because I'm having some
Yes.
connection issues.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. All right. Before we get to that item, because that's a whole discussion piece, Commissioner Baker McCormick, are there any other questions on any of the items prior to that? Prior to the last three? Any questions on the report other than 18, 19, 20, and 21? All right. Okay, Wafa, go ahead, because I think the last three items are all related. So go ahead, Wafa.
So we received some funds from the MEDC to do our second round of grant funds to small businesses. Through that, we got some admin dollars, which we would like to allocate to a retail study to look at the effects of COVID and the effects of post-COVID on downtown neighborhoods, on DDAs throughout the county. We are looking to partner with And Access, who has done quite a few of these in Atlanta, in Detroit, throughout the country. And they would do all of the research in all of the different DDAs throughout the county. So we would be looking at communities in Downriver, Western Wayne, in the Points, and we would want to understand what effect COVID has had on these DDAs and retail corridors, how to move forward past COVID, how to improve these corridors, and they're going to provide us with the data. They're going to provide us with the data that eventually we would be presenting to the different communities. Once we get the report at the end of December, we would use the first quarter of the year to go to the communities and present our findings and essentially work with the communities on putting together plans to move forward and to improve these retail corridors.
Okay.
Okay,
So-
Commissioner.
So you have a plan, well, they're going to produce a plan to help those corridors. Is that basically?
So, yeah, so they would provide us with all of the data. They are going to spend the next three and a half weeks. If we get this approved, they would spend between now and the end of December putting together all of the data, putting together all of the reporting and maps for our county. And then economic development is going to take that data, look at it, really figure out what it means and go to the communities and say, look, this is what the data says for your community. This is how to make it better. This is the kind of businesses that need to be in this corridor, and this is who you need to attract, or this is kind of how to adjust, or you guys are on the right track. COVID didn't really have much of an impact and you guys are going down the right path. We just don't have the data right now, and we're looking to be more data driven.
Okay, so once you have that data, how is that going to benefit the community? I mean, what's the end result from the data?
So this organization And Access, they did the same study on Mack Avenue in Detroit, and they looked at credit cards use in that area. They looked at cell phone data, and what they found was the people who lived in that community, they were driving 20 miles to go to nail salons. So that they determined that there needed to be a nail salon on Mack Avenue. And with that data, they recruited a business owner who opened up a nail salon, and that nail salon has been incredibly successful. So that's the kind of data that we're looking to get. We just don't have, we just haven't had the capacity to be data driven in the county, and we want to be able to support our retail corridors and support our local businesses, and be able to, you know, if a business comes and says, hey, I want to open up in Wayne County, we want to say, the perfect place for you to open is going to be in Romulus or in Northville, or, you know, be able to give them data.
Okay, that explains it better. And is this only for areas outside of Detroit?
It is. We are contractually required to spend the money in outer Wayne County.
Okay. And also, we talked about in Ways and Means that we would extend grants to nonprofits, additional grant dollars. Do we know when that would open up? Because we only have till December 30th to spend the money.
So I don't know if China's
Yeah.
on the call, or Khalil, if you want to speak to that.
Yeah, thank you. And it's a great question. I think, Madam Commissioner, what we're going to do is, in addition to, you know, anything that nonprofits, because nonprofits do a lot of programming during the holidays. I think that's what you're pointing out. We're also going to do incurred expenses. So any incurred expense that is COVID related, going back to when COVID started in March, will be an eligible expense. So we're trying to kick the number up to just under 50,000, right? It's $49,000. And it will be a combination of incurred expenses that people can show with receipts to satisfy auditing and those kinds of things, as well as programming throughout the holidays.
And when would that open up, that application process?
So I think we have 390 applicants already. Folks are, you know, their applications are being scored by China Cochran. We are going through those applications as we speak, and then reaching out to all the applicants, because as you pointed out, we don't have time to do another round of applications. What we do have is the opportunity to go back and ask folks for the receipts and those kinds of things that scored very high.
Okay, so there's not a reopening, we're just dealing with the applications that we have right now, and then we're going to increase the amount of the grant.
Sorry, that's right. Yep.
Thank you.
Khalil, you put yourself on mute.
I said that's right. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Thank you.
I got kids in the background. I don't want you guys to.
Thank you, Commissioner Baker McCormick. Any additional questions on the Ways and Means report? Any questions on the Ways and Means report?
Madam Chair, may I just have one point of
Go
privilege?
ahead.
There is
Yes.
one item that was
Yes.
talked about at Ways and Means, and this is just to be overly transparent again. We have about $370,000 slated for veteran services. We have a nonprofit, the National Faith Home Buyers, that we believe will service somewhere around 100 veterans, and the services they will provide is, you know, shelter, and they've partnered up with a couple of churches. We've gotten some letters from them. They're going to provide food. They're going to provide counseling, as well as COVID-19 testing and those kinds of things. We do believe that this can be done under our emergency spend powers, but it does require a contract. And even under those scenarios, I believe the chair has to sign that contract. So we will be submitting that for your approval, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. They do wonderful work, so thank you for that. Any questions on the Ways and Means report? Khalil, do you want to make any other notations about any of the other items as it pertains to the CARES dollars?
Just that, you know, we're asking for a lot of patience and flexibility with how we look at this. And a lot of it is for those who didn't come to the Ways and Means meeting, it is because we don't know what the status will be for a vaccine. And because we have to spend these dollars by December 30th, because the county goes on holiday, I think December 23rd, we have only a few weeks left to figure out how to do all this. If we get a vaccine, you may see us spend these dollars differently. And the reason why is because, you know, we may need a freezer, we may need more syringes. There's just really no way to know just yet. But what you can what I can promise you is, it's our intent to be as transparent as possible with this. And to the extent that we spend dollars differently than what we're saying right now, we do believe we have the emergency spend authority to be able to do it, but we will come back to this body and explain all the spends that we have.
Madam Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Baker McCormick.
Thank you. Just one other question I just thought about. For the vaccine, are we looking at how we will transport, because you have to keep the vaccines under, 95 degrees? Are we looking at how we
Below zero, yeah.
transport the vaccines? Do we
Yeah.
need a freezer truck, or how are we looking
Yeah.
at?
Yeah,
that?
I'm not the best person to answer this. I know Sergio Dinero, Dr. Hamani, and Janelle are really the three best to answer this. What I can tell you is you are right. It does require a freezer. I can tell you that, in part of our presentation to Ways and Means, we slated about $4.6 million of health-related PPE expenses. One of those items is a freezer. We're also slated to receive a freezer from the state of Michigan to be able to handle the type of vaccine that you're mentioning. And we are coordinating a lot with all the hospital systems who have some capacity for extra freezers. So you're right to bring it up, and it is certainly a part of our thinking in the spend.
Good morning, Commissioner Darrell. This is Darrell. How you doing from economics? I just wanted to add that with Khalil, we have already received the freezers in our HAB clinic, and they have already one of them has been installed, and we're looking for another one to come in possibly this week.
Great. But as far as the transportation of the actual vials, is there any protocol for that, or transporting it from one location to the other to make sure that it maintains its correct temperature?
To the best of my knowledge, the vials will come from the federal government to the state of Michigan. They'll deliver it down right to where our freezers are. So I believe transportation is handled by the state of Michigan, but Sergio Dinero is probably the best to answer that. So let me have him send you some communication on it.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. And when we have our next meeting on the 17th, hopefully we'll have more information about all of that. And we'll expect a report at that time from either Janelle or Carol or someone from the Dr. Hamami, because that'll be close to getting the distribution of those vaccines to the various counties.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Varga.
my understanding is that they will be packed in dry ice until the time of putting it into the what they call deep freezer. So that's how they're going to keep it cold.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Any additional questions on the Ways and Means report? Any additional questions on the Ways and Means report? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Basham,
Yes.
Commissioner Baydoun,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Coleman,
Yes.
Commissioner Dog,
Yes.
Commissioner Hattis,
Yes.
Commissioner Knizik,
Yes.
Commissioner Marecki,
Yes.
Commissioner Baker McCormick,
Yes.
Commissioner Scott,
Yes.
Commissioner Varga,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware,
Yes.
Vice Chair Palomera,
Yes.
Chair Bell,
Yes,
motion carries.
thank you. Next item, please.
We're on report E from the Committee on Public Safety, Judiciary, and Homeland Security. There are 6 items listed on pages 13 through 15 of the agenda.
Commissioner Clark Coleman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to receive and file item, excuse me, item number 1 and 2, and move approval for items 3 through 6.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported. Any discussion on the public safety report? Any questions on the items for public safety? Okay, hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Basham,
Yes.
Commissioner Baydun,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Coleman,
Yes.
Commissioner Dodd,
Yes.
Commissioner Hattis,
Yes.
Commissioner Kenizik,
Yes.
Commissioner Marecki,
Yes.
Commissioner Baker McCormick,
Yes.
Commissioner Scott,
Yes.
Commissioner Varga,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware,
Yes.
Vice Chair Palomera,
Yes.
Chair Bell,
Yes.
motion carries.
All right, thank you so much. And next item.
We are on page 15 of the agenda, Report F from the Committee on Government Operations. There are 2 items listed.
Commissioner Scott.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item number 1 to be received and filed, and item number 2 to, I need support for both, but item number 1 is receive and file.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Scott for the government operations, supported by
Commissioner Clark Coleman.
Okay, moved and supported. Any discussion on the government operations report? Any discussion? Okay. All right, hearing none, roll call vote for the government operations report.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Basham,
Yes.
Commissioner Baydun,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Coleman,
Yes.
Commissioner Dodd,
Yes.
Commissioner Hattis,
Yes.
Commissioner Kenizik, Commissioner Kenizik, Commissioner Marecki,
Yes.
Commissioner Baker McCormick,
Yes.
Commissioner Scott,
Yes.
Commissioner Varga,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware,
Yes.
Vice Chair Palomera,
Yes.
Chair Bell,
Yes.
Commissioner Kenizik,
Okay, go ahead.
motion carries.
Thank you. Next item.
We are on page 16 of the agenda, upcoming committee and task force meetings.
Okay, please note the meetings for next week. These will be the last set of committee meetings for the year. If there are any changes, please alert the clerk. But these are the meetings as of today for next week. Next
Madam
item,
Chair?
please. Yes.
Just wanted to invite all of you to the meeting today, actually, the seniors and veterans meeting, special committee meeting. We're going to have Zanetta Adams. She's the newly appointed director of the Michigan Department of Veteran Affairs. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner. Next item.
Quick comments.
Did you receive any emails?
No, ma'am.
Okay, if you can unmute to allow those listening to provide public comments. At this time, we open the mic for public comments. Comments are to be 3 minutes or less. Are there any comments for today? Any public comments on the line today? Okay, one more time. Any public comments?
Yes,
for the Wayne County
if I may, this is President Buffington of ASME 1659. I just wanted clarification of the record that was indicated about negotiations being stopped prior or due to COVID. That was not correct. Negotiations have been staggered for a portion of time without any of the locals being aware as to why. But that record needed to be corrected. Thank you.
And can you please give us your name again? It was a little sketchy coming in.
President Buffington of Local 1659 of ASME.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Ms. Buffington. Thank you for that.
Thank you for your
Any
time.
additional comments? Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else on the line would like to give public comments at this time? All right, thank you. Next, Madam Clerk.
We are moving to new business. There is one item listed on your addenda. It is requesting commission approval of retroactive amendment number 7 to a 3-year comparable source contract with 2 one-year options to renew between the Charter County of Wayne and AT&T.
Okay. Okay, who from the administration will speak to this?
Good morning, Commissioners. This is Carlos Perez, CIO.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This contract is for the legacy Centrex telephone system that we have at Wayne County. This migration to the new voice over IP system was scheduled and on target to be done in July. We had to shut down all efforts to migrate to Centrex in March because it's very in-person intensive, and as a result of social distancing, we simply couldn't do the necessary audits and the necessary procedures to get the project finished. That's it in a nutshell why we're asking for an extension for this. In addition, we found that there were a significant number of analog phone lines that are attached to the system that are also attached to emergency devices. And we're going to have to go through an audit and make sure that those phone lines are managed so that we don't lose those capabilities of alarm systems, of, I guess, some pumps, other roads-related devices that we need to take care of. So that's why we're asking for an extension on the migration. It was on target. We do believe that we can get the main telephone system moved over by February. The audit will tell us how soon we can get the rest of those analog lines off of the system. The reason we asked for immediate consideration, which I regret to have had to do, but thank you for entertaining it, and thank you to the commission staff for helping us out and jumping on, really hammering this out yesterday. It was a monumental effort, and I'm genuinely grateful. But in a nutshell, that's the reason why we're extending it.
Okay, so I have a question from Commissioner Basham.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I appreciate the good work you're doing, but this upgrading our, I guess, internet, phones system in all the buildings and stuff, is a monumental task. But it was supposed to save us some significant monies. And it seems like what it's saving is a whole lot less than what was commented. Could you speak to that about the savings?
Yeah, I could. It is disappointing to see how that's been playing out. So the analog phone lines that we're talking about, they're increased by a system called the tariff rates with AT&T, and they keep getting ratcheted up at a tremendous amount. So the contracts that we've had in place so far has been a discount. And then, of course, as we migrate phone lines off of the old system to the new system, you'd expect to see a very large drop-off. That's not the case. The tariff rates on the analog phone systems have been going up and up and up and up. What this contract is going to allow us to do is it's going to allow us to keep the rates that we have in place. And I mean, honestly, if they go up, they're going to go tremendously. There's another contract we're going to follow up with after this one, which is going to lock us at a rate, which that option hasn't been available to us. And we heard about it for the first time, I believe it was just a couple of weeks ago. So we're going to be able to lock in the rate at a lower rate, but we had to get this contract through first.
Thank you.
Any additional questions on this item?
Move for approval, Madam the Chair.
Support. Been moved, there's support. Moved and supported. Any additional questions? Okay, hearing none, roll call vote for this contract.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Basham,
Yes.
Commissioner Baydun,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Coleman,
Yes.
Commissioner Dog,
Yes.
Commissioner Hattis,
Yes.
Commissioner Knizik,
Yes.
Commissioner Marecki,
Yes.
Commissioner Baker McCormick,
Yes.
Commissioner Scott,
Yes.
Commissioner Varga,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware,
Yes.
Vice Chair Palomero,
Yes.
Chair Bell,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Testimonial resolutions and certificates of appreciation. There are none listed. We are moving to memoriams. There are none listed. We are on reconsider.
Madam,
I have one, Madam Chair.
me too.
Memoriam, Commissioner Baydun, then Commissioner Basham.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to extend my condolences to the family of a 33-year-old Dearborn police officer, Christopher Hampton, who passed away on November 25th in Dearborn. Officer Hampton was a 10-year veteran of the Dearborn Police Department, and he was known by many in the Dearborn community as a caring and dedicated police officer. My prayers go out to his family and the Dearborn Police Department during this difficult time. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. Prayers to him, his family. Thank you. Commissioner Basham?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Although this person lives in Commissioner Palmero's district, he is a long-term friend of mine. Grant Alberts, when I first got involved with the city of Taylor, was a finance director going way back and many years ago.
Yep, I talked to her. She was,
Do I still have the floor? Anyway, Grant Alberts.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Grant Alberts worked for a number of the cities. And I think he wound up moving to Gibraltar, but he was very supportive of me from the day I got involved in the political arena. He's very active in the community downriver. And anyway, he passed, and I'd just like to make a couple of positive comments about Grant Alberts. Thank you.
Thank you, and please give the name to the clerk, sir.
We'll do that.
Madam Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Scott? Commissioner Scott, then Commissioner Palomero.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to add Terry Durod. We buried him last week. He was a Highland Park basketball star. He even was with the Pistons and retired from the Detroit Fire Department. Just an outstanding young man. So our prayers go out to his wife and the rest of the family. And one of his cousins worked for us here at the county. And my prayers go out to her.
Thank you, Commissioner. And again, let the clerk give her the full name, please, at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Commissioner Vice Chair Palomero.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just in follow-up to Commissioner Basham's comment about Grant Alberts, there was no bigger Michigan State Spartan than Grant Alberts. He was the head of downriver and southeastern Michigan, Michigan State alumni. He devoted a lot of time and energy. He was an active participant in community service, and I'm wearing a vest today in honor of his memory. So thank you for bringing it up, Commissioner, and was a wonderful, wonderful human being. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Scott.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't know that Grant Alberts had passed. Grant Alberts was a longtime Highland Parker.
Yes.
And it was my friend for years, and still, he still made sure that he sent me a donation every year for my campaign. Oh, just a wonderful, smart, intelligent man. Oh God, I am so sorry. So my prayers do go out. So thank you, Joey, for that. Oh, wow.
Commissioner Basham,
I had
did I
nothing.
see your hand again? Okay,
Well, I was
sorry, I
for
thought, sorry.
Michigan State. That was being a
Oh,
Spartan. so.
oh, okay. All right, thank you. Anyone else like to add a name for memoriams? Anyone else for memoriams? Okay, hearing no other names added, if we can please bow our heads to close our eyes for a moment of silence. Okay. Thank you so much. And God bless the families of those that we've lost. Next item, please.
Reconsiderations.
None at this time. Next item.
Remarks by members.
Okay, any remarks by members?
Hi,
Any
Madam Chair.
remarks by members? Commissioner Basham.
Yes, in all seriousness, this COVID-19 is real. People need to wear their mask. A lot of people aren't doing it, or they're wearing it below their nose. Probably the same people don't know how to use their turn signals. But one person has really jumped out, and some of the highest cities in Out County, outside of Detroit, have been Dearborn, Dearborn Heights. And Sam Baidoon has stepped up to the plate, and he's currently batting and continuing to bat and continue to push. He's being a leader when it comes to battling COVID-19. So I'd like to just, I'm not wearing a hat, but I take a hat off to him for a quick minute. I appreciate the good work that Sam Baidoon is doing. I know he gets a couple of negative comments for doing his job, but that comes with politics. But anyway, thank you, Sam, for doing a good job for your community.
Thank you, Commissioner Basham.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anyone else for Commissioner remarks?
Madam Chair, I'd like to say a couple of things.
Commissioner Baidoon.
This past Monday, I hosted a town hall meeting, and I had the governor, the lieutenant governor, executive Warren Evans, and Congresswoman Debbie Dingell, and Dr. Janae Caldoon. Was a very informative town hall meeting. For those of you who didn't have the opportunity to watch it, I believe Jim posted it on the commission page. It's on YouTube. So I invite all of you to go back, and this was big, for the Wayne County Commission. We were in the spotlight, all of us, not just me, basically. And what another thing, Madam Chair, and to my colleagues, I'm going to be discussing this with the chairwoman after the meeting. I am working on organizing a virtual prayer vigil for Wayne County Sheriff Benny Napoleon, and I would like to have all of you on the virtual prayer vigil. I will give more details. I want to coordinate this with the Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And thank you for what you're doing, as Commissioner Basham said, in your community. Dearborn Heights is very high in numbers, and you point that out every day and remind people to wear their mask and don't go out unless they have to. So we applaud the efforts that you're doing to keep those numbers or low, or educate the community about how to keep them low. So thank you for all that you're doing on that front. We appreciate that.
Dearborn Heights is David Kaniezek's
Yes,
district.
it is. Yes, it is. You're absolutely right. Dearborn. Thank you, sir. Next, anyone else for remarks by members? Anyone else remarks by members? All right, I will just say that we've been in contact with the state legislature about extending the Opens Meeting Act for an additional 90 days. They have not voted on it as of yet, but we're hopeful that a vote will come to that. As it states now, the Opens Meeting Act to meet virtually ends December 31st. But we're hopeful that they will add 90 days to that, given the high rate of cases that we're experiencing right now. So as we find out more, I'll certainly let commissioners know how that is going in Lansing. Any additional remarks by anyone? Any additional remarks? All right, hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved.
Support.
All right. Thank you very much. Meeting adjourned, and we will see each other soon. Take care, everyone.
Was just trying to turn the meeting off, Alicia. See y'all. Bye.
See ya.